Is that going?
I assume that we're
We're live.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
All right.
I mean, I think we're live. I can't see the record button.
Did you tell people that we're not doing a live show now?
Okay, I'll tell them.
There's so many people waiting.
Yeah.
Due to
Our
technical difficulties.
I mean, but
due to Brandon's fault.
There's one person out there they're like, man, I cannot wait till this live show starts.
There is. It's Cam.
It was Cam.
Hey Cam, your fucking cam link didn't work.
For sure, it's in.
All right,
Did
we're
he
starting the
fight
show
this
then.
weekend?
What was this weekend?
I don't know. Wasn't there something? No, that was last weekend.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna get this done. Let's start the show though.
All right, welcome to the
Hey
show. This is the fan show for MMA and grappling. This is definitely not a show for experts. It's for people who ask. I had a good one this time. How to do a lapel choke in nogi. I even thought about that. There's actually been one person who asked that.
Oh, no, there's more than one.
All right, so we had technical difficulties for our live show, so we are going straight into the script, and we are doing news and notes. Now, usually I get super bored, and then eventually we just talk about how Gordon Ryan's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe we only talk about Gordon Ryan once on news and notes. That's nice. That's like a good change.
Who's Gordon Ryan?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's our overlord,
Exactly.
Chad. Well, I mean, no,
Now
he's
it's
Thor.
Dylan Dennis.
Oh, God.
Finally, we graduated.
Oh.
Yeesh.
What? In all seriousness, though, what's Dylan Dennis's MMA equivalency?
What do you mean?
Andre Gavalos.
I mean, like, you have to, like, if Dylan Dennis is Jiu-Jitsu, whatever, then who is in the MMA? Is it O'Malley?
No, because
No.
he actually fights and performs. You know?
Shit, okay.
On a high
Dylan
level.
Dennis has
I
that
haven't
shit.
seen Dylan. Yeah, I haven't seen Dylan
Connor.
Dennis do shit.
He won 2 first round.
Connor's worth $100 million, so he's getting a little.
Connor's
credit.
won 2 belts,
Yeah,
too.
keep going down.
We need to go to.
Sage Northcutt.
There we go.
Sage
Yeah.
Northcutt.
You know,
There we go.
Sage Northcutt's
I actually
still
like
a couple
Sage
clicks
better.
above
Yeah, I feel like
him.
Sage is one step higher than Dylan Dennis.
He's
We're
still
just talking
fighting.
about skill level.
He signed up with one.
I sent Ron. Yeah,
Yeah.
I sent Ronnie the training
happy for
video
that?
of Sage, and I
Why?
put what's the good and what's the bad.
He looks great. Man, does he look good. But he's not that great. And he's the American
He's the
representative.
American representative.
He's,
of this
he's our
card.
Hulk Hogan. He's the real American hero going to fight the one guys, and he's going
But
to
he's
get
got
his ass
kicks.
kicked. He's got kicks. You know what? You got me there.
Whatever,
He's got kicks.
whatever Asian guy they
He's
found
got
to fight him
kicks.
is gonna just
He got
beat the living shit. That's their promotion's reverse UFC-ism.
What episode is this? 42?
This is now 43 because we don't. Well, I mean, now it would be 42. Yeah, there you go.
42 is short.
The live show?
Like,
Well, yeah, the live show.
we should have just recorded it.
So,
Yeah.
all right.
Showed
So,
her 1 hour of bullshit.
Why didn't we just do it off your phone?
Well, Brandon, since you brought that up, let's talk about your fucking Mario experience that you're supposed to give me the video from your phone.
Well, I mean, we could have just, like, propped your phone up and, like, did it
I
live.
know, but then when I extract,
we're having a producer's meeting right now. That's crazy. All right. So,
remember that Mario video?
IBJJF Euros.
I feel weird with my
News.
laptop.
I don't know why.
Cole gets his brown belt going 6-0 with no points scored on him, which is just
I see that's the blind person.
What are you doing?
Go on.
Chad got bored.
okay.
In the very
I should just
first,
shut
the
this.
very first part, he got
Hey,
bored.
I'm just letting you know, like,
and we're gonna talk
we're-
about gi jujitsu.
We're
He
actually
got
talking
bored.
about gi jujitsu.
Oh my- I hate
this
gi
is your-
jujitsu nowadays.
This is your wet dream. I mean, pretty much.
No, Nogi's my favorite. I took a vote the other day and everyone wants Nogi.
Yeah.
I mean, our gym would be ecstatic.
You say that, but you only teach 1 day a week at Effingham, and it's gi.
So
Clearly,
Cole,
I backed off and tried
So-
to become more of a family man.
so Cole gets his
Guile.
brown belt going 6-0 with no points scored on him. And then Kanan. So the other day you said Tanan, which I didn't know that was a person. But Kanan, he ends up subbing everyone, including Mason Fowler, and just dominated. So news, notes, takeaways from IBJJF Heroes.
So Cole Bay won all those and then got his brown belt? That's
Yeah,
Yes.
he went 6-0, no points scored on him.
I mean,
That's
really, his
crazy.
career is amazing.
I kind of thought he just
It's-
got his purple belt. Or am I
Well,
wrong
he did
about
last
that?
year.
Okay.
He's
Yes.
he's
Okay.
under the Rotolo rule now. That he can be a black belt when he's
18.
19. 18 or 19, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like 17 or something right now.
Yeah.
16, 17.
I mean, he deserves
6-0 with no points scored is
I mean,
defeat.
it. Well, I mean, the ADCC, 8 matches.
Yeah.
8-0, no points. Euro 6-0, no points. Like,
He's pretty
and
good.
it's adult, right? He's not doing juvenile. Did he do adult? I think he did adult.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm 90% sure he did adult this time.
Just keep talking. And
I'd
I'll
be
get it.
shocked if he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Before it was juvenile, not the ADCC.
Well,
but-
how do you compete as a juvenile at purple belt? That's not a thing, right?
Well, when he was blue last year.
Okay.
Whenever he was blue, he did the pans. He lost to that one kid.
Really?
It was wild. Everyone went crazy. He lost by, and it was really a kind of a borderline.
You said
The guy barely passed the guard for 1 second. They got an advantage for it that could have maybe went either way.
You said you thought he got screwed on that.
It was that pans, and I remember watching. I was sitting right there in the bullpen watching it, and I was
Yep,
like, "Holy
you're right.
shit,
It was
Colby!"
adult.
He did adult, yeah. So
Yeah, that's a feat.
you know, when he was
Just
winning
crazy.
juvenile, no one took him serious. It's like, oh, well, great, you beat all the juveniles, like.
Well, it's
But
hard.
now when you're winning adult at
and not getting
17,
points scored on you.
and not getting
that's
points-
pretty
Whew.
incredible.
I mean, I don't know. I like the kid.
Remember the other day when I was like, when there was no one in my division, I was like, well, there for a second I had this thought where I was like, I'll just do adult or something. Who cares if
Yeah.
I lose? Then I was like, I had Cola Bates in my division. I was like, no.
He's actually, what is he? Is he 154 or 167?
You're asking me questions.
He's right around there though.
Have to
Yeah,
do that.
I bet he could make 154 if he wanted to, but I feel like he's a pretty, like, I think he's.
Really? I thought he was like our size, small.
No, I mean,
He's a little
he's
bigger
getting
than us?
thick.
Okay.
Yeah, he looks.
Is he, like,
way
our
bigger
height,
than
or
us.
is
When he
taller?
walked in with Heba at Pans last year and into Anthony's gym, I was like,
Is he pretty tall or?
no, I mean, I would say he's probably your height.
Okay.
What are you, 5'9" or 10?
Yeah, like 5'9".
I would say he's that, but he's getting thick. You know, he's growing up. His dad's a big guy. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he trained with Heba. He's trained with the Mendez brothers. Like, it's pretty
He's
much-
light, so 76 kilos.
That's what well,
Yeah.
167.
Yeah, that's the one above. Feathers.
I said kilos.
Oh,
76
I think
kilos.
you got to talk English. This isn't. What is that? What's the
Metric
joke?
system.
Yeah, what's
Take
that?
a flying lead.
Oh, okay. I
It's
just
like
watched-
America. Well, I saw a meme the other day that said America will do anything not to use it. It's
Yes.
like, listen, I'm gonna jump those 3 football fields over there and
that's
kick your
right.
ass.
That's right. I don't care how many hot dogs tall you are. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Oh.
I just watched Super Troopers and they made so many metric jokes. Like it's so funny.
The first one?
The second one.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen the second one.
Second. I like the second one. It has the guy. I mean, it's bad. Rob Lowe's in it,
Okay.
and he plays like this old hockey player. I don't know why I like that. It's really funny. All right, so Kanan subs everyone. That's
You don't like Kanan.
I don't, but like if he's looking to start subbing people, then you know,
Yeah.
I'm down.
Kanan's
He
the guy
took a
that-
note.
Kanan's the guy
No,
that
he's
is
listening to our
Andrew. Yeah, kind of like B Team listen to me.
Exactly.
Kanan's listening
That's
to
right.
Michael.
That's right.
People are watching the show.
Gosh.
Is Kanan
We're
the guy-
changing the world.
The guy that won ADCC?
That was the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
boring fight that basically
But-
won by
but the
outstalling
most
himself.
dominant,
He
probably.
did sub like Mason Fowler.
Yeah.
That, I mean,
Mason
Mason
Fowler's
Fowler's
good.
winning a lot of stuff right now. So I mean, that's
I feel like Mason
Crazy.
Fowler's now just starting this year to get his stride.
yeah. I agree.
So
Yeah, the little knee bar he hit from like the over under pass was slick. I know that's like the Bernardo Faria classic, but that's pretty when
Yeah.
you hit that.
Yep, for sure.
I do. I mean, I really enjoy our drilling sessions lately because I need to open my game up more. Like that's when, as Dennis and I are building this app, it's kind of cool to see.
What
'cause
kind of
we're-
app?
Huh?
What kind of app?
It's an app to hold you accountable for your jiu-jitsu daily. We're not going to give too many details yet, but we're hoping to be in alpha.
It's called a plug.
What?
It's called a plug.
What's that? Oh, that's where you.
It's remember that thing that broke on this where it plugged in?
Yeah.
You need a better one.
That app's probably going to be broke too for a while. Anything I do seems
That's all
to be
that matters.
broken. But we're doing a thing where it gives you weekly challenges, and it's going to have levels. But you know, like it's going to be cool because I think sometimes you get into the routine. I mean, I think everyone can agree. You get into your routine that you're comfortable in every day, and you don't think about exploring other things, right? Like I don't think about, okay, I'm gonna drill knee bars this week. I'm gonna drill wrist locks this week. I'm gonna drill calf crushers. You know, like this is gonna kind of hold you accountable to look beyond your game every week and actually explore it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what Sun Yun's currently doing right now. Because it's gonna. I mean, people.
I don't know, but I can tell you this: your other daughter is going to be a serial killer.
I mean, she already pretty much is.
Brandon and I were saying that today when he's like, I was watching her video, and she just. And I'm
She like-
yeah, she scares me more than
She like
Sun
hit
Yun.
bumped this kid that just sat on him with this murder stare.
Yeah, she just looks over at me.
Dude,
She's like, "What now, Chad?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Like, kill the kid, I guess.
In a week when she stares at him in the eyes, it's very unsettling. She does
Alright,
it to Ross
shit.
all the time. She just like pins him down and just stares at him in the eyes. And I'm
She's a
like,
little badass.
I
Yeah.
don't know about that. Sun Yun is building a diagram of her entire jiu-jitsu game.
Yeah, that's good. That's kind of what I want
She's
to.
I've done that before.
She's such a
Similar.
weirdo.
What's that called?
A diagram?
I know, but like, what's it? Is it a flowchart or a star map?
Star map.
Well, like you
That's
would.
the map they
what-
sell you in Hollywood to get to like George Clooney's house.
Can you do that?
So you take it right here on this right here. Yeah, that's knee bars.
Yeah. So, like, that's what I'm trying to put in the armory tab.
Mhm.
Is like it'll say stand up, guard. Basically, I want to break down the entire path of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So as people
So
are.
flow charts for sure.
Yeah. And I'm trying to make sure, there's a lot. And I don't want to miss something, but
Like
the
a
whole.
Venn diagram or something.
Kind of, yeah. Like, because I don't want to. The whole purpose of the app is it's gonna show you what you need to go on YouTube.
Mhm.
There's no point for me to upload content. There's a shit ton of content
Exactly.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
So the purpose is to give you a guide of where to go look.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's a big thing. And flowcharts are great because those are systems. And if you break down jiu-jitsu systematically, and to bring it back to what we're talking about, like Kolobate does, it's very systematic in how he attacks. Then it makes it so much easier because you know this flowchart. He did this. That means I need to do this, and he did this. Now I need to do this.
Right.
And that's countering
I
one
hate
on
to bring
one.
up Gordon Ryan, but
Uh-oh.
he's a genius on that.
Yeah.
Well, just having that system in your mind lets you kind of like filter all those decisions when you're in the moment too.
Mhm.
You've already been through this process in your mind more now. Like these link to this kind of stuff goes into
Mhm.
here.
I think it's hard to do that as a human.
It
I think
is,
that's kind of the cool
Especially
thing
under
about
stress,
this app, because not a lot of people want to go down and write in a journal their systems. But it is kind of nice to
I
have.
do want you to know that you told me I don't want to give out too many details, and now
Yeah.
we're off on a tangent on your
Stop this,
Okay,
Michael.
there we go. I will right now. Hulk. One of the new MMA news is Hulk is moving to MMA. He's going to PFL.
Oh, fuck is Hulk.
I thought he was talking about Hulk Hogan. I was like, I thought he was
Hulk
way more.
Barbosa.
And then Damian Anderson from B Team, which they don't train, so I'm not really sure how he's
How
doing
did
in
he
the
end up
cage.
doing?
Exactly.
I can tell. I watched it.
Yeah,
I didn't get to see it.
it's good. He did good. And then
I like him.
Carolina Vera also. Carolina we know because of Sun Yun, because she's kind of on that kids circuit for teens and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And she announced that she's going full bore with MMA because she's training with I just forgot the name.
She's training with Raul Rosas, which
Yep,
is the
there we go.
young kid that just got signed and won for UFC. He's really good.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
so
I think
good.
he's fighting on this next card
He
too.
might be. He's really good. And I mean, also in that same gym that they're training out of is Waylay.
Yep.
in the same gym.
That's right.
So Carolina has trained with the current champion.
Yeah.
So
That'd be a great mentor for a young.
Yeah, and then she goes out and gets subbed in the first round.
Oh, did she?
Oh yeah. Now the one it was her first fight, and it was the other lady's third fight, and she was 2-0 going in. But it was you can tell like Carolina was shitting herself scared, and the other one's like ready to go, nice and comfortable, been in there a lot. So I'd like to see her fight again just to see if it was just nerves, but
I assume most people think whenever I say Sun Yun wants to do MMA, that's how they think she'd do too, because she's scared. And Ronnie can tell you it's the exact opposite in MMA. She's actually goes after people. But yeah, I wasn't worried about her. I thought at 18 getting in the cage, that's young.
It's
you know what I
young.
mean? I don't know. With Damian Anderson though, we can give an update on that.
yeah, he whipped ass. I mean, he went in there, he caught him with a right hook and dropped him, and then got on top.
Oh,
of
this was an
him.
MMA fight, not
Yes.
a jiu-jitsu match.
No, MMA.
Okay.
I don't know if I know Damian Anderson.
He's
Uh,
pretty.
He
he's pretty
ran.
good.
He ran B Team for a while.
He's
one of the
actually-
head instructors.
Yeah,
He's
he's
actually
definitely
the
one
one
that-
starting the. Are you talking
Yep,
about?
I got
Maybe
it.
I
Yeah,
saw a
next.
picture of him, but
Yeah, so and that's so I guess last we'll kind of end with this is how do we think Hulk will do? I mean,
He's fought before. I think
Yes.
he's 2-1. He lost his very first fight, and then he won 2 in a row by submission. I mean, if he gets now, he's training with the Atos guys, and I don't think he's getting any outside help for his striking. So his striking is going to be within Atos, so it's not going to be spectacular by any means. But if you get a good grappler in the cage and you just teach them how to not get caught, they can. You can't tell me that like Khabib and Islam are amazing strikers, but they're very good at. They can hit you, and they're very good at avoiding strikes and using those evasions to set up their ground.
Right.
So,
And PFL is probably one of the best organizations for building fighters.
This is him?
yep.
Yes, I've seen him, but I don't really know that much about him.
They built, Clarissa Shields. I mean, if you want to do conspiracy theory stuff, I believe they signed every person in her division and said, you cannot take her down. You have to stand with her. And then in the last match, they were like, all bets are off. And then that person magically thought, oh, why don't we try a double leg? And then, she got controlled the entire fight.
Yeah.
Kayla Harrison, they built up pretty good. And then they also, they tried to resurrect Rory McDonald and a couple other of those guys. Pettis, wasn't he one of them too? So I think PFL does a pretty good job with that, with the mixture of up-and-comers and, former champions. So might be a good one. Speaking of B Team, New Jersey, they've announced that they are now having an official New Jersey team, and Damian Anderson is heading that up. So originally,
really?
Originally the news is that B Team, he was leaving, and they didn't really say anything, just kind of said, hey, my time in Austin's done. So everyone thought he was leaving, starting his own thing, but now it's been announced that he's doing New Jersey. So B Team's the first team that moves out from between them and New Wave. What do you think?
I think it'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
I think he's obviously really knowledgeable. I don't know him, like, obviously personally or anything, but I've seen him in several videos, and he seems like a really good instructor.
And they should get a good pull from Henzo. I mean that's basically still in and about, the same gym, so they should be able to still get good pulls from them and be able to work that way. And that's still like Nicky Rod's home, so he'll go up to visit and then go train there. So
I heard they want to open a B Team in Ocala.
Where's Ocala?
Is that
Florida.
Chicago?
Okay.
Oh, where?
JB.
What's Ocala? Jesus Christ.
That's where Jeremy Bird is.
Yeah, so it's just like 20 miles north of Orlando.
Yeah.
Jeremy Bird was telling me that JB is from that area. Do you remember JB?
Yeah. Vernon.
Yeah, he came down and stayed for a week. I like JB a lot, but
I did too.
I understand that sometimes it's not even that like you can't handle the Mount Vernon environment. Sometimes it's just not that you don't want to handle the Mount Vernon environment. It's a different world.
Yeah.
It takes a different mindset to handle it. It's not bad or good. But JB left, and I don't think he's a tough. I think he's a brown belt now. But he's been training with B Team a lot.
Yeah, I know.
see
he's
him in a lot
Yeah.
of Craig Jones footage, like Craig Jones beating him up, which, Craig Jones is going to, even if you're a good athlete, Craig Jones is still going to make you look like a stupid athlete. So, but it would be cool. If he would open it, that would be neat to go visit Jeremy and visit him.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee he's got good knowledge now. And Ocala's big enough. That's what people don't understand. Like, Terre Haute's big enough to have 3 gyms and not be competitive. That's what sometimes these instructors piss me off. Like, Effingham's not big enough to have. It could maybe do 2 gyms and maybe maintain it.
Yeah.
But that's it. But any population that's 60 to 100,000 could have 3 gyms and no one would even touch the surface.
Right.
I don't know how big Ocala is, but I guarantee it's probably 50 to 100,000
It's big enough to
people.
not have that famine mentality.
So as long as your gyms aren't next door,
Yeah.
there's plenty of space for everyone.
Man, when you guys brought up Rory McDonald, that made me just like reminisce about him. I feel like he always got kind of a.
Did they bring him
Never
up
got a
today?
great.
Or is that like...
Yeah, they just brought him up a minute
You
ago.
weren't paying attention. You were spacing.
We were talking about PFL.
Was that when I was on the computer? Or was
No, this was
you
like
just were,
2 minutes
you were in your
ago.
own little
What?
world for a second.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you spaced out big time.
Shit.
I was actually
This is
gonna
while
do
you
a
were
joke.
looking up who Damian Anderson
Oh,
was.
Yeah, that was
okay.
it.
That all right. Now I feel a little bit better. I'm like, damn, I was just sitting here really outer space.
So next, and I don't want to color this in any way, ADCC UFC Fight Pass announced that they have a deal.
Mhm.
They're going to
I
now
heard
be
that.
the provider for ADCC. And Gordon Ryan announced that he has a new deal. Oh, I lied. No, I didn't lie. There you go. With Flow. He has I think it's like,
For $1 million, right?
yeah, I think it's like eight contests or
Does that
something
mean
like
he won't compete on the UFC Fight Pass anymore then? Is he exclusive to Flow?
I would assume that it has something to deal with that he's not with one anymore, is what my
Okay.
assumption is.
Would that
Shit,
mean
$1 million,
that...
who cares?
So if ADC signed with UFC, then that means UFC is going to do all the broadcasting for ADCC going forward too as well.
And all their live events
So
are
does that-
down in.
I would imagine then there isn't some like exclusivity thing with Gordon. Then obviously he's going to go compete at ADCC. So
Yeah.
I imagine, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
there's got to be.
But yeah, what do you guys think about UFC trying to get into the grappling game? Kind of seems like they're doing. They saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good.
I was thinking this a minute ago, but I didn't want to interrupt Ronnie. At first, it was like, how long until one takes over UFC? 5 years, 10 years. I think we've had this conversation before, but I feel like one has so much momentum that when they finally do, they're not in America right now, right? Like they don't.
They're coming.
Right.
May
When they
5th.
do, I think just their theatrics and their approach and everything is gonna make everyone more entertained than UFC.
Me and Ronnie talk about a lot. The average meathead MMA fan, how are they not liking one?
Right.
There's
That's
so
what I'm
many
saying.
knockouts.
But it's also just the theatrics is better.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
I think UFC is like, we've got to do something different. You know, like they're doing the slap thing, they're doing all this other shit.
That's a
they're kind of like,
completely tangential thing.
right, but I understand right now they're realizing that MMA is not, they're not going to be able to keep the MMA market and be the top dog anymore. They're going to have to hit other markets to feed the UFC market, to feed the MMA market. By getting grappling, by getting slapping, by getting all this other shit. No?
No, you're right. It just by getting slapping was hilarious.
Well, I mean, I'm not a big fan of it, but
Yeah.
clearly he's getting a following.
I just the fact that like, hey yo, you slapping today is way better than hey yo, you fighting today. So much
Well, it's
better.
for sure. It's
Slapping?
not
Yeah,
fighting.
slapping. It's slapping every day.
I would.
Now they're gonna watch my shit and steal it. Fuck. Dang it.
I am really shocked that they did not go the wrestling route. I thought that if
I think wrestling's pretty covered though.
if one was going to go towards the jiu-jitsu route, I figured they would go towards the wrestling route. But
You mean like collegiate wrestling,
or just like
professional
trying to
wrestling?
start doing beat the streets, with Jordan Burroughs and stuff like that. They're pretty friendly with obviously Bo Nickel now and stuff like that. I just figured that would be more the path that they would go, but for them to go to ADCC is pretty smart. Like that's to me,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
a good
pretty
point.
good.
That's
That's a
good. Yeah.
pretty good move. Now the question: if they pull ADCC from Flow, then it gets.
How does Flow survive? Is that what you're
I don't.
thinking? That's what I'm thinking.
I don't think.
Well, that's kind of what I see
Dude.
too, because I feel like IBJJF is pulling a little bit from Flow.
They're trying to do their own interface, which is
I
gonna
feel
be terrible.
like
Absolutely terrible.
UFC, right? I feel like all these companies, like in Flow, they're not even running the way that they used to run. I'm kind of curious lately. Like, think about it. You're not seeing who's number ones. You're not seeing the energy. You're not seeing the hype. They fired the one guy, which I understand he messed shit up, but I really also felt like he kind of carried something
He was
too.
kind of the best commentator for jiu-jitsu there was, I feel like.
So it's almost like there's a dead space going on. Like I feel like Michael Sears is kind of like off roaming around, hanging out with Baby Shark and those crews and Mika Gavallo and like. So I don't know. I mean, maybe Flow's okay. Maybe they're just kind of calming down right now. But also maybe there is something internally.
I don't know. The news, whenever it came to me, when I read it, I was like, oh, that's it. That's it for Flow. Like, I just got rid of my subscription because my debit card changed or whatever. I'm really not wanting to pay for it. Like, I'm
Well,
kind
it's
of just like-
expensive.
yeah.
It's
and
expensive, and you still get commercials, right?
Now, yeah.
And
now
it's still not even a good interface.
no, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
it's really hard to find.
Oh, I mean,
stuff.
for how much money you have, make the damn interface good.
And then you know that oh my gosh, this is terrible. Track wrestling is the worst thing ever. Any wrestling fans out there will just shake their head and be like, "Yeah, it's terrible."
Yeah, it's bad.
And it's combined. Now it's combined.
It's basically it's like the.
It's terrible,
yeah.
right? It's just horrible.
It's the flow of wrestling.
Oh no! That's funny. Flow now is them.
Oh, they took that over?
They took track wrestling over.
Oh.
So it's just kind of like, oh, cool. So now you're going to have two horrible interfaces.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really bad.
That's that's like if Ask Jeeves bought out Yahoo.
I mean, it's bad because when Sun Yun signed up for ADCC, she had to go on there and make a Flow account and sign up for their tournament. And they actually tracked the tournaments good because they stole all the wrestling interface.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other day, there was a kid at one of these birthday parties for my kids, and he was going on. He was a 4-star athlete on track wrestling, and Sun Yun just goes, "What does that mean?" And Sun Yun was just making fun of it, but. They have like this tracking system. They show every single placement on every single tournament. It's 1,000 times better. Like Chad would constantly be checking his star rating and be like, "I'm a 5-star man." That's an It's Always Sunny joke. Yeah, Chad.
I'm a 5-star man.
Hey, I made $26 on Facebook. You guys can't talk to me.
Nice.
All right. Last but not least,
I'm rich.
I'm sorry, not last but not least, and I lied. We're talking about Gordon twice. Mikey's leg lock.
Oh.
No, I'm just gonna ask this question: was that worth it?
No. Well, no, there's no way.
No.
There's
Mikey's
no
leg lock,
way.
what
Like,
happened?
well, the guy held a leg lock for 8 minutes. Well, Mike held it. I mean, he sat in the leg lock and just let his knee get. I mean, what was it? MCL, ACL.
Hold on, what happened?
So it was a one grappling event.
This just happened?
Yeah,
A week or two ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
a couple weeks ago. Mikey put on the Mikey lock on this guy and ripped this guy's
was a
knee pretty
what?
well completely off.
Was it
Oh.
Sambo? Was Sambo?
Yeah, he was a Sambo guy.
So they're
Oh,
doing
it was
that
that.
Sambo
Okay.
versus-
So he just didn't want to tap out of pride.
And
Yeah,
he
for
just,
Sambo.
He just sat there.
For
and-
Sambo and for Mongolia. That was his two.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's the takeaway.
but he's out for a year.
Yeah.
Well, probably for
1
the rest
year.
of his
He's in a
life.
full leg cast.
I
Yeah.
can't imagine. He stood up after that. I was like, how? The
Mike
amount
is-
of adrenaline running through that dude's body to be able to
That-
survive.
His knee will probably never be the same.
Go watch this as soon as we're done, because Mikey's brain broke.
Yeah. He was just constantly like, and watching, and like you could see like the guy's knee was here and you could see it starting to come out of socket and starting to move around like this and swell up mid fight, and Mikey's just like,
How does the ref not call that?
You can't. There's no
Yeah.
call.
There's no
It's-
call.
he-
It's sub only.
There should be someone in there that looks
but
out for
then-
the fighter's
but-
safety.
But then it's like the Fuji Springfield last weekend, right? Like
Well, first of all,
every
you gotta have a
kid-
better ref than Fuji.
every kid is crying because their arm's getting popped, and it's like, listen,
going on.
you're going and you're bitching to the staff. Oh, my son didn't tap. Oh, my son didn't tap. My son was fine. And then it's like, okay, well, we're gonna let the shit play out.
Yeah, I don't.
So when you're at,
They're
it's a little bit
professionals.
different. This is the highest level in the world.
There's a
You
difference
make-
between children and grown
Right,
ass
I know,
men,
but what
too.
I'm saying is, this is the pro level. This is there's no higher level.
This is your choice.
You want to sit there and take it, it's you.
There's two.
No one can
moments.
stop it.
Sure,
I'm
I
only
guess.
going to the funny. I don't give a shit about that this guy chose to have his leg. I'm only going to the funny. There was one point around the 2-minute mark left. Mikey looks at his coaches and starts making faces like, "What is going on?"
I mean, what else do you do at
He's-
that point?
He's like broken inside.
Well, I'm sure it's like the Geo moment where the Geo upset him so much because Mikey is an awkward, social, nerdy kid, but he does have this, he doesn't want to hurt anyone.
No, yeah.
No,
you have to
could
go to
tell.
almost a dark place
Yeah.
to be like, look, this is
Oh.
professional, this is for money, and I have to do my job. And
He wanted the tap so bad because he was apologizing after the fight for not getting it, which I'm just like, no one cares. Like, he just destroyed a guy's leg. But and then he switched it.
Yeah.
He switched it at the end to go to the other side. So that he does evidently have that dark place because he knows that. What was the quote? He says, "It felt like I was destroying cardboard. I heard so many
Yeah.
pops
Yeah.
and rips and tears."
But for 50 grand, 100 grand, or how much ever money you're going to make,
Yeah.
But the second part that broke his mind was when he stood up.
Yeah.
When he stood
Broke
up,
my mind.
he was staring at him like this, like with his mouth
No.
open.
How?
Like, what is going on?
it's definitely a different
Didn't
kind of human for sure to
understand,
be
yeah.
that level, to mentally go to that place.
Yeah.
But also, here's the last thing. Could Mikey have easily let go of that and toy with that guy and let the round go on.
I was gonna say if he had it so destroyed, why didn't he just let him go? Then fucking.
You know what I'm
headlock
saying? Like,
him.
if you're a really good human and you know, like, the guy's clearly not going to beat
There's
Mikey.
no points either in these.
No
it's
points.
just submission only.
Yeah, clearly Mikey was going to win the match. Like, all right, I
So what
popped his knee
happens at
once.
the end if you don't tap it?
If
There's a
they
judge decision?
So there's so many submission attempts.
Catches.
Yeah. So when the ref will say there's a catch, and that just means
I
there was
see.
an attempt. He actually gave him like 4 different submission
yeah.
catches on that one submission because he would adjust it a little bit and then relog.
Did
it
that
and
guy do anything at
No.
all?
No, no.
It's like Gordon Ryan
Did he
said,
shoot a
what do
takedown
you
even?
do to
Like
Mikey
nothing?
Musumeci?
No, he
He
actually
went out there. Mikey pulled
No,
guard. and that was
Mikey
it.
actually started standing for a
Yep.
little bit. He engaged with him for every bit of 20 seconds. And then he,
I was going to say.
that's 8.
That's kind of impressive. I mean, to be honest.
This is the Chad Hawkins.
It wasn't go and he sat. It was he went up there and he played and it's like, oh, okay, guard. But I mean,
some PR manager
Yeah.
came to him and
Like-
said, listen, nobody likes that you start sitting.
yeah, just go
Touch the guy
him.
and then sit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
And to that point that you guys were talking about, like they asked him, it was like, well, why didn't you switch? And Mikey said, I got tunnel vision. I had a submission that should have worked.
I get
so
that.
I just couldn't
It's
let.
hard
I
to-
just
It'd
couldn't.
be so hard to let that
Exactly.
go.
He couldn't
And
mentally
then you
let
lose,
that
you
go.
would never live with
you'd-
yourself.
You'd be so
It's-
sick, you know.
I think he did. I think at one point he did go for a choke.
He did at the
Yeah,
end
yeah,
of the last
at the
2
end,
minutes.
he
He
actually
realized like
ended
I
up-
can't. He's not gonna tap. You know.
And he's also not going to do anything anymore either.
Yeah, how could he
He's going to
defend
crawl to
himself?
you.
He was like I mean, I'll be
He
honest.
kept moving. I don't know how.
Yeah, the guy kept trying, and Mikey kept going out. Which I was in the same boat as you. I kind of thought like, oh, Mikey's just gonna feel bad eventually and stop. But he didn't. He tried to actually choke him. Went to the other side, and I was like, man, that's a different
And
level.
couldn't tap that guy out.
Yeah.
You got to give the guy credit.
The moral of the
I mean,
story is you
your
don't
fucking
fight
career's
people.
fucked for a year, but
You don't fight people from
I bet his
Poland.
knees fucked for the rest
You
of
don't
his
fight
life.
Mongolians, and
Yeah.
you don't fight Ukrainians, and then that's it. you
Your
know?
knees and your shoulders, they just never repair. Right?
But it's like we always say, like, it doesn't matter your technique. It really, like, these MMA guys that are that condition, it sucks. Like, wrestlers or MMA guys that are that mental condition, like, you got to put me down, are, like, the most annoying people to fight for people that are just wanting to be good, logical
Good
jiu-jitsu
wrestlers.
fighters.
If you went to regionals at Chatham, then you would not say any of that.
I'm
Good
saying
wrestlers.
good.
Good wrestlers.
The ones that, you know,
good
like,
MMA
I
fighters.
guarantee,
I know some MMA fighters that have some good in them
I
too.
guarantee, like Jordan Burroughs or who's the guy that comes visits you that did the seminar.
Ed Ruth.
You know, I guarantee those guys, you're gonna have to kill them.
Mhm.
They're not just gonna be like, "Oh, I quit." You know, like you got me.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll,
Remember-
tell, I'll
Go
tell
ahead.
the best story offline about the wrestler I saw this week. He fucked with some kid. He even got a penalty point for pushing him in the face because he's like, I know I can get away with it. It was crazy. He just outworked the kid mentally, and I was like, that sucks.
There
As a
are some
coach.
people that are just too tough, though. You, like you said, you do have to put them out. Like John Jones, I remember when he fought Vitor Belfort, he had him he had John Jones in like a fully extended armbar, popped his arm,
Yeah.
and then he still came back next round and then armbarred Vitor.
what about
and
the
won.
Craig Jones, Gordon Ryan armbar?
Yeah, exactly.
That shit makes me sick when I watch
Or
it.
Tony
like, damn.
Ferguson, he had that happen one time too.
Yeah.
Like,
All right, I was checking the time. That's why I was making sure.
Yeah, I don't know what the time is.
So no, I got a time wrong. We're good. So last thing, I want to read this quote entirely. Is going against a little bit of our, Gordon Ryan's Thor thing. But me and Ronnie, we talked 15 minutes the other day on this, so it's pretty interesting. But this is Nicky Rod talking about Gordon Ryan in his match. The biggest takeaway was that in ADCC I lost to a leg entanglement, and now, a few weeks later, I won a leg entanglement. That's the biggest takeaway. Besides that, he couldn't do shit. He couldn't sweep me. He couldn't get on top. Couldn't do anything. He really just laid on his back, tried to grab grips, and couldn't do much. So this is an interview that he had, and he basically is saying, like, I'm going to get there and beat him.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the one.
I kind of feel like there's a chance he could be.
I don't know.
I mean, he popped his ankle with the
That's
toe
a-
hold, and they went to who can get out quicker.
He almost had him
that's
in like a
crazy.
rear naked. I mean, it
Yeah.
was pretty across the face.
I need to
but-
go back and watch that match. The second one, the one where he
The
did better.
EBI one.
Yeah.
Because when did the leg entanglement happen? During their match?
hmm
Like not, what was, there was overtime, I'm assuming.
Right. It wasn't in overtime.
Yeah, it was in the match.
I don't know. I saw parts of it, but I didn't watch the match fully.
I saw where he said it broke. I saw that.
I don't know. I mean,
Our minds are just broken.
I feel like
Gordon Ryan did not good.
We always thought that it was going to be Gordon teaching Big Dan and Big Dan being the one to do it, but I mean, maybe. I mean, maybe.
I mean, those guys are training hard every day
Yeah,
over at
yeah.
B team. They are. So there's going to come a point where
And they have the inner workings of their mind.
Yeah.
They even know what they're arrogant about. I mean, every grappler is arrogant about something.
Yeah.
Like,
can only be the king for so long. Everybody has their day where they
Do
fall.
you
so.
do you think that split is why Gordon might be starting to drop a little bit because he doesn't have
those guys to train with like that?
Yeah, he doesn't have those.
They still have like
quality-
Bodini.
yeah, I was gonna say, but
Sure,
they
but
still got
no,
monsters. But
I mean, besides Big Dan, there's no size.
Ooh, that is true.
I mean, Bodini's great. He's
Yeah,
absolutely
no, I get what you're
amazing,
sayhave
but he's not.
It's
he's
a different
not
thing.
yeah,
Thanks,
you don't have
Nicky
Frank
Rod.
Jones, you don't have Nicky Rod.
Yeah,
Um,
you don't have the star wrestlers in there. Big
But
Dan.
I don't.
What's his
we
name
also
now?
don't fully know who they're bringing in. I know he's constantly bringing people in for visitors.
That's true, and we don't
So
know.
They
I
have
don't-
what's his name now too.
It's also a little bit like a celebrity gym now.
Correct.
Let's be honest. Like, I mean, you see all these MMA guys come in. You see, I mean, just celebrities.
I think Gordon Ryan's too much of a perfectionist in himself, from what I've read. That
Yeah, exactly.
I guarantee that as soon as that match was over, he was back home.
Mhm.
Ridiculously, him and John were going over the facts and the details, and
Yeah.
and how much did Gordon Ryan go after Nicky Rod legit, and how much did he want to sell to get his contract? Like, look, I'm giving him hope so that you could set up for the next big pay.
It's possible too.
We don't know. I mean, the real truth is we'll never.
And this
know
was
the
a
real
last
truth.
minute replacement as well, right? He was supposed to face.
I just would like to
right?
talk to Gordon Ryan and get a real answer. Like, did you let that shit play out and get a little bit? It's kind of like
Yeah.
you let someone take your back. You're like, oh shit! Like it was like Sun Yoon the other day. Like I let her get on my back, and then she started feeding that. I'm like, okay, I actually might get tapped.
Yeah.
Did Gordon Ryan go out there and say, okay, I'm gonna let this play out, and then it got a little bit dangerous?
I always
I think so.
I always thought the split was fake. I thought they go to the same town. I thought it was like a Raw versus SmackDown thing where like,
Yeah.
we're gonna make competition with each other, but we're secretly still gonna train with each other. Now I'm starting to not believe that.
I agree. I agree
Because
with that.
now I saw Craig Jones at Atos,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I do agree that they're both trying to kill each other,
So with that,
which is kind of cool.
and I kind of
It's a
already
great
alluded to
rivalry.
it. I think that every major gym is arrogant about something.
If B Team overtakes New Wave, it will be huge news.
Yeah.
So Atos, they're not gonna get beat on top usually, right? Even stand up, things like that. That's what they're known for. Like AOJ, they're bottom.
Yeah,
Right.
seriously, yeah.
Yeah,
with,
gotcha.
With Gordon Ryan, most of the time it's supreme technique.
Mhm.
So if anyone's gonna know his arrogancy of like, hey, if you get a leg entangle, I don't give a shit. It's gonna be B Team.
Yeah,
They're
the
gonna
only
know
sucky
where-
part is who do you go to beat the one team that's beat everyone?
But that match was also like 24 hour short term replacement, right? They replaced Vinny like less than 24 hours or maybe
Yeah.
like 30 hours before it was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I would imagine they had completely different game plans, like what he would do against Vinny than what he would have done
Yeah.
against Nicky.
That's a good point too.
Yeah, I'll be interested in Pena and Gordon, see if he really is losing a step, because obviously that's a pretty comparable thing. Pena's
he,
Do you
still.
think Pena
just
would
6
beat
months ago
Nicky?
he was dominant. So
Yeah.
That's all.
Has
quick
Pena beat Nicky,
drop.
Rob?
Nicky Rod beat
Nick
Pena
in the
ADCC.
ADCC.
Oh, yeah.
He passed the
Yeah,
guard
God,
on
that
that.
was a great match.
And
a great match.
the sucky part is I felt like Pena was just a bitch.
Yeah.
Like what was the real
Oh.
Pena? Because
Oh my God, yes. I
I
the
felt
whole
like-
tournament he was that way.
I felt like it was almost like, like I don't even want to be here, and I don't want to face Gordon Ryan and lose to him at ADCC. So
Yeah.
You know.
I'd like to have seen him progress instead of kind of level and then drop.
I mean, I would like to go talk to each athlete and get the real truth.
I
Like
think
in your match, were you like, I know that if he gets the guard pass, I can walk away and be okay with this, and I don't have to go get embarrassed and.
I think he really wanted to set up the super fight between him and Gordon, and then I think that when Ty beat him,
Yeah.
you could tell he like threw a fit. Like kind of he was just trying to mess around with Ty, and then the whole Sun Yu thing again. He let him go too deep, and then he was like, "Oh shit, I'm in trouble."
Yeah.
So yeah, no, totally right. All right, well that's all I got for
That's
news and
it.
notes. Yeah,
That was a good episode.
pretty good episode.
So how
Actually, we
long
had
was it?
shit to talk about. To be honest with you, last taping was the worst content we've ever had. Like we had nothing going on. December
Yeah.
was just bad.
That one episode, 41, though, was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, but but I'm saying like content wise, right?
Yeah.
News and notes,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just been bad.
Yeah, there wasn't much going on.
It's been bad. But yeah, no, that was a pretty good episode. So go
Right.
ahead and talk about your cat's penis. There you go.
I was just about to say the cat's penis.
Talk
Cat's
about the
penis
cat's
or Ronnie's thing, whichever one
Yeah.
we want to end with.
Don't let the cat penis hit the door.
There you go.
See you guys.
All right.